Hey guys, my name is Funparo. Two popular support items are Moonstone Renewer and Shurelya's Battlesong. In this video, I'll go over both items and tell you which is usually the better item. Using stats in the game, I'll help you find out when to buy each item. So let's get right into stats and what it takes to build these items. So both Moonstone Renewer and Shurelya's Battlesong both have the same exact stats, except their passives and actives are different, and they're also built the same way. So in terms of stats, they both give you 40 ability power, 20 ability haste, 200 health, and 100% base mana regen. And they're both made up of a Glass Mirror and a Kindle Gem. Now looking at Moonstone Renewer's passive, Starlit Grace, whenever you use an attack or an ability in combat, you'll hear your nearby ally champion with the most missing health for 70. And that's a 2-second cooldown. And then every second that you're in combat, you will also stack healing and shielding power by 7% up to a max of 35%. And your Mythic passive empowers all your other legendary items with 10 heal for the passive Moonstone Renewer, Starlight Grace. And now looking at Shurelya's Battlesong, its active Inspire grants you and your allies in a certain radius 30% bonus movement speed for 4 seconds, and the cooldown of this is 75 seconds. And the passive of Shurelya's Battlesong Motivate is when you heal, shield, or buff an ally champion, not including yourself, you both get a bonus movement speed of about 25% for 1.5 seconds. And your Mythic passive is that for every legendary item that you purchase, you get 5 ability haste. So let's first look at the power of the healing on Moonstone. So when you first use an ability in combat, you will heal your ally with the most missing health for 70 health. And then 2 seconds later, you'll heal them for 79.8 because of the stacking effect of the healing and shielding power for every second that you're in combat. And 2 seconds after that, meaning 4 seconds after you use your first cast, you'll have 89.6 healing. And then 2 seconds after that will be 94.5. Even though 6 seconds, it's caps at 35% in terms of getting that additional healing and shielding power. So it'll be 94.5 healing. And the total healing in a span of 6 seconds is 333.9 HP. And that is not to include healing done by a champion. This is just damaging a champion. So now you can imagine if you added healing your own allies with this and how powerful it would be. So now let's put into context Moonstone with one legendary item, because if you're a support player, you usually have at least one legendary item, sometimes not even. So just to put this into context, when you first use an ability in combat, it'll be 80 healing. Then for 2 seconds later, it'll be 91.2 HP. 2 seconds after that will be 102.4. And then 2 seconds after that will be 108 healing. So then the total healing that you do in a span of 6 seconds is 381.6. So as you can see, there is a difference with getting one legendary item and how that 10 extra healing from the Mythic passive impacts your healing. It does about 47.7 extra HP in terms of healing. So now, if we were to compare this with Shurelya's, the healing on Moonstone increases as more healing is applied to the Starlight Grace passive as you get more items. Obviously, as support, you probably don't usually get all the way that much, but even in laning, it's possible to get more legendary items to help increase this healing, but you usually don't get that much. But now if you compare to what Shurelya's gives you in terms of its Mythic passive, you get like 5 ability haste for every legendary item that you purchase, and 5 ability haste isn't that much. When will that extra 5 ability haste that you get from a legendary item with respect to the Mythic passive on Shurelya's, when will that ability haste get value? Usually it's not that practical. Usually you don't have those scenarios where that extra 5 ability haste would have made a difference. And let's look at usually stats of games. Usually they hover around 25 to 30 minutes. And then at most, supports will usually get 3 items. And if you're in lane, you'll probably get maybe like 1 more. But yeah, like as you can see, getting that 50 extra HP from the healing is way more impactful than I would say the 5 extra ability haste. So let's also understand the movement speed that Shurelya gives you. So a lot of champions with tier 2 boots will have a total of 380 movement speed. And movement speed is calculated in units per second, so that means it would be 380 units per second. So to put units into context, Teemo's character model in game is 100 units long. So you could say that a champion with 380 movement speed will be moving 3.8 Teemos per second if Teemos were right next to each other. So Shurelya's unique passive grants both you and your person that you're healing or shielding or buffing 20% bonus movement speed. So that means you'll increase the MS to 475 units per second or 4.75 Teemos per second. So that's cool. But how practical is that? This buff is only for it lasts like 1.5 seconds. So sure, it will give you that burst of movement speed to get sort of closer, but in terms of staying on your target, how impactful is it? It helps definitely, but consider practical use of it. And then there's also a lot of mobility in the game that champions can have, and then there's also crowd control. So sometimes the extra movement speed isn't actually that valuable, and the healing is just way more powerful. So some conclusions from this: usually Moonstone is always better, the healing is always much nicer. Shurelya is good in few scenarios where maybe the enemy is very long range and they're very hard to reach, where the extra movement speed could have helped you gain some crowd control on them, or like help you get more damage. And that's where Shurelya would help close the gap. But usually it's really not that practical in terms of the movement speed and the ability haste that you get. And the healing is really powerful on Moonstone. So the ability haste that you get from the Mythic passive is not that powerful, because it's 5 ability haste, which converts to about 4.76% CDR in terms of what 5 ability haste translates to in terms of CDR. And then the healing is like a 50 HP difference, and as obviously you get more legendary items, the healing will increase by a lot more. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.